I wrote the letter on Mingbai, because I really can't imagine how to send messages to parallel space. For this, I also brought a batch of Mingzi paper back to my country. When I wrote this meditation coin, it's the year, but I came to this world much earlier than this. Which year is the specific year? I forgot. Someone has made a problem in my mind. The world doesn't speak much of science, so I use metaphysical means to send you messages, which may be useful. Ahem, this is writing a letter. Don't I need to put quotation marks like I write a novel? I imagine that I am facing the microphone, holding a coin that can be used as toilet paper when I am in a hurry, and then speaking to you in a serious manner. Under the stage are familiar people on earth. Don't mind my squatting posture. I have crossed. I thought I had crossed into a world parallel to the earth, and the ability was still there, everything could be over again. I am very happy, at least my guilty heart can be slightly normal. Once again, sincerely, to you who are alive and those who have died because of me, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it originally. Well, I had a good time for the first 2 decades, my life was very happy, and my economy was fine. Please forgive me, this is the passion for expressiveness that all normal humans have, and the disgusting character. This proves that I am still a human being. Every time I carefully remind myself with these unique human emotions, I can't pretend to be a god. The last sentence seems to be a bit ill-formed, but I can't see it anymore. My original Earth language organization ability has been affected a bit. Digress. Everything is fine, until the outbreak of World War II in this world, black and white characters that shouldn't appear in the newspaper, Captain America. Is the Captain America you saw in the movie, and he looks alike. So, originally my happy life was only left with the word fuck. In order to verify, I risked my life to go to the battlefield of World War II, and then saw him. Saw with his own eyes the American team that looks almost exactly the same as the actor Chris Evans in the movie, saw with his own eyes his very different physical abilities, and saw with his own eyes his invincibility on the battlefield. So, I crossed into the world of a movie? Is this a punishment for the heinous crimes of my last life? Originally, I thought that with my superpowers, I could be a god-spirited stick or something in this world, but now it seems that I think too much. I have watched the movie, so it is very possible that there is an alien like Thanos in this world. Thanos is not terrible, I am afraid that he will do things outside of my domain. My superpowers have a range of use. But all of this in front of me may also be false, maybe a super brain with a higher level than me has punished me and let me live in a fictitious world. However, the hands of those girls are really very real, and I have left a lot of photos. If you don't believe me, let me share with you the photos I took, year month * day holding the beautiful Zhongfus.jpg. This is the photo of my first girlfriend in this world. She was only 18 years old at the time, and she was the same age. The camera was just coming out at the time, and it was still black and white. It was a bit troublesome to wash the photos. I ran abroad and used me. I got one of the superpowers, a tragic world. At that time, there was no passenger plane, so I could only take a boat. My superpowers were all in my head, not a Superman, so I didn't want to come back again in my lifetime. She is a conservative girl, so I had to use my superpowers to confuse her before taking this photo, which is very precious. Sadly, she found this photo shortly after it was taken, and then broke up with me. You will definitely say that I am a scumbag. Yes, I'm like that. It's hard for me to maintain my loyalty. You can say virginity. The reason you will know later. Fortunately, I hid the negative of this photo. I added this one later. I inserted a picture in. The reverse side of Mingbai is full. Write this first. Look at the next one. My first car, a steam car, oh, and my superpowers. You said, scribbling on Mingbai, would you not respect the unknown existence? Will this affect the original function of Mingbai? I burned these coins to you in order, but it is not clear whether you received them in order when you received them. Perhaps, you can wait until you have received them all, and then look at them in order. This may be a bit logical, but it may not be. Because my memory is chaotic, I will often lose some memory inexplicably. Year month * day, standing in front of my first private steam car. JPG. This photo was taken in the year of 1949, so early, there were only black and white photos at that time. I let dozens of doglegs go to Europe to get this car back. When I got back, there were half fewer people. The magical thing, I used to see the internal combustion engine in the last life, this kind of real thing that can be suddenly removed by adding coal and water. Can you believe it? The car is a bit big and the nose tube is very long. It looks a bit like a dachshund. The tires are a bit narrow, but there is plenty of space inside. This is a 4-seater car. This guy made me soak in a new girl, but the good times didn't last long. I only drove it for half a month. Its tire was punctured by a sharp stone on the road. No one here can fix it. I asked it to be washed. The whole car was covered with a thick layer of wax inside and out, and it was placed in my warehouse. I plan to repair it in a few decades. In the photo, you can only see 3 intact wheels. The broken wheel is the rear wheel that you can't see. Year month day, my 4th date with Suzuki. JPG. This picture was taken by my girlfriend and I on the car when the tires were still not broken. To say that this car is not good, there is no compartment, and there is no way to separate the driver from the back, otherwise I will be able to do more. Posted 2 photos, I can't write any more, look at the third one, and I will show you some favorite photos. Year month * day. Zoe died of illness. After switching identities and appearance, even if she is still alive, she won't recognize me anymore. Looking at the old spirit image, I couldn't find the overlap with my memory. I should have some emotions, but in fact, there was nothing at all. If I hadn't asked the assistant to pay attention to her from time to time, I wouldn't know that she had passed away. It's easy for the body to live forever, but the soul seems to have a lifespan. I don't have a clue where this key address is. So even if I change the lifespan of the physical body to infinitely long now, once the lifespan of the soul is reached, people will die strangely and strangely. This experimental data is also available now. The immortality has been changed, so that normal people can live to the end of life without disasters and diseases, which is about 70 years old. Those who love to read, more than 10 or 20 years old, love to read novels and fantasizes, more. So, does Yama really exist? Maybe there is such a thing as a life and death book? The weird thing is, in the book of life and death, who has written off my name? Overall, I am now over 130 years old, and some strange behaviors should happen, like Guo Ben jumping off a building or something. I thought about it for a long time and concluded a possibility. Is the reason why I often delete some memories? Is like Zoe in front of me, my memory of her is only a picture. I can't remember when I came into this world. I seem to have buried some very important things. These things are very important, but where are they buried? I thought about it for a long time, but still couldn't think of it. Isn't the computer very reliable? Why is my super brain so unreliable? It uses codes and numbers to analyze all human behaviors and memories. Isn't this similar to computers? What does the computer write and remember? As long as the memory is not damaged, it will keep remembering. Memory. Maybe my memory is cells, and they also have a lifespan. They are crossed out on the book of life and death. Must be so. I believe it must exist. Is there a way to get it? When you get it, you will get a big deal. What kind of superpower do you still have? Get it on the phone, see which guy is dissatisfied, just swipe your finger and kill it. This ability, just ask, still. Yes. Who? Destroyer. Then sign up and take a look. There are really 6 gems. It is said that it has infinite energy. The gem formed at the beginning of the explosion of the universe. I soaked in alcohol for 7 to 14 hours, took it out, and dried it. Who knows if anyone has licked it and eaten it, so it must be cleaned. The amazing thing is that my superpower can actually connect to it. Is it a living thing? Because based on past experience, my superpower can only connect to creatures. After thinking about it, in the Marvel world, perhaps the scope of biology will be larger, and then relieved again. Its code is super short. Is this a short one? Looked at a certain calling process. The essence of hemp eggs is not just a very ordinary process that only releases energy. It is very short, very concise, and can't change a single code. It is not much different from the nature of the human digestive system. The code of the digestive system is comparable. It is much more complicated. Is just that one of its entry parameters has an n-bit address, that is to say, you can fill this address with any number to call any energy. There is also a default value for the exit address parameter, 0. Does this little thing really have infinite energy? I don't believe it. Nuclear bombs must also be carried by airplane rockets? Basic common sense. Give it a try. Year month * day, I went to the base for an experiment. Such a small thing, how powerful can it be? A bite of rice has as much energy as the third power of 10. So I filled in the parameter, 10 to the power of 10. Can't do this again. The base within 1 kilometer in diameter is directly vaporized. There are only 2 words left in the experiment result, fuck. If I hadn't been a villain, I would have been a bit far away from the experience, maybe I would have died. The base that had been in operation for 7 or 8 years was instantly leveled. My Einstein was all blown up. Is that Einstein? The one with a great brain. The meat hurts. Lessons of blood and tears. The experiment must start with small parameters. Then, I suddenly remembered, I seemed to have had a lesson of blood and tears before crossing, but I actually forgot. But why did I suddenly think of it again? The unit behind this parameter is definitely not joules. Megajoule? GG? What's behind gijo? I didn't learn physics well, maybe it's a banana? Regarding the consequences and experience of banana equivalent, those physicists have absolutely no experience with me. I can call myself an expert in this regard. Attached is a photo after the experiment that I finally took a selfie afterwards. March 7th, the space gem energy release experiment failed. My appearance, my Einstein, I finally let him live up to now.jpg this dangerous thing, I decided to bury it. I added a shell to it. Of course, it is not a turtle shell, but an encrypted shell on the program. This shell covers the poor little code on the main body, so that others cannot directly call the code on the main body. And this shell also retains this basic function that has been tested, energy release, and can only accept numbers within 10. The thing is that you have to enter a long series of passwords, and then convey the demand to the space gem body. This shell only retains this function and has other functions. I won't experiment, and I won't reserve an interface. I thought that Einstein would kill me, and everything was no fun. The truth is, I am not a cat. I have 9 lives to try one by one. If one of them accidentally hangs up, I will play the egg. Was blown up, I suddenly remembered that this gem seemed to be what Thanos was looking for. I went through the notes, and then remembered Thanos, and then I felt a little uneasy. If that guy fired his finger to kill the world 100,000 kilometers away from me, wouldn't I let him be killed by someone with such bad luck? Thinking about it, since Thanos is looking for this thing, and I don't need to take this thing for the time being, I don't think it is safe to light a light, so I have to find a place to hide it, and I can't let Thanos find it. Where can I hide? I thought about a place, but I can't tell you. If some of you also learn from me and burn the coins to Thanos, it's not easy. Well, this place will only be known to me from now on. According to the routine of writing novels, the protagonist's skills must be upgraded step by step so that he will not be shot by the editor-in-chief. At the beginning, I also felt that my superpower was the only one in the sky and the earth, until I got an arrow in my knee and realized that this was the Marvel world. My superpower is Super Brain. This ability is a bit like computer ability. This ability can extend the distance through water, wire, and metal, but without these media, I can only connect to someone else's brain within 300 meters. In the case of a conductive medium, this extension ability can gain distance. The infinite extension, if the conductor is disconnected no more than 300 meters, then this superpower can still be connected. This superpower can turn everything in other people's brains into code and a database, which can be modified at will. Therefore, in a modern city full of tall buildings, this superpower is simply invincible. Almost the entire city can be brought under the rule of the electricity and water supply system. Does look invincible? I got this ability before I crossed. Maybe you will think of something? Yes. The end of the year virus was created and released by me. Originally, I just wanted to try it in my experimental field to see if the codes can be spread autonomously according to the designed program after they leave my control. The worm code was copied from the internet. I added functions to distinguish friends and enemies, rapid energy conversion, bite infection, silence, etc. I did not expect it to spread so quickly. It's almost too late for me to crash all the infected bodies. It took me 3 seconds to shut down an experiment. I forgot to add a delay to this code, so its replication speed is like lightning. When I shut down a worm in this experiment, the worm had already replicated several copies of itself. But fortunately, I still thought of a way to use high-voltage electricity to shock the experimental body, which can temporarily stop the self-replication of these worms, which can give me precious time. Is just the of the dog day, why is it thundering at this time? I know I have done something bad, can you give me a chance to remedy it? A few thunders come down and make me another world. Cheating. How many joules of energy can a few thunders allow people to pass through? It's just a means to hide your ears and steal the bell, whoever believes is a fool. I don't know what happened to your side. I'm really sorry, although I did it intentionally, but it caused the spread to be unintentional. You guys said, when I burned you, is it possible to receive it before the incident? It would be great if so. I will tell you my test field address and my home address. If you receive this coin before February, please do not stop me. The address of my test field is, Kilinpo Village, County Town, City, Province. Bring a gun, if I resist arrest, kill me. The only condition is, can I give my wife and children a little money for the aftermath? Is there 500,000? If you received this phantom coin before the year, then you have a lot of opportunities to prevent me from gaining this superpower. I was still writing novels at that time. You just need to sign a contract for my novel, and then give me a small amount of money, such as 500,000, so that my family will not starve to death, and I will not go to do some procedural dog work, and then get the superpower of this broken program dog. Is almost impossible to write, 500,000, remember, I remember clearly, the goal at that time was this number, or you can give half of it. At that time, I will definitely lick you. The base of Hydra is still very secretive. I finally asked many people to find it. The armed forces are very powerful. Although bullets can't kill me, maybe an overdose of bombs can do. I have to choose a rainy day to invade this base. I said before about the operating conditions of my superpowers. Rain can give me a longer control range. In addition, this base uses a lot of reinforced concrete, which I believe can reach the core. There are no weather satellites and no weather forecasts at this moment. It is really inconvenient. I waited for a month without waiting for rain. When I decided to call a group of people to attack, a dark cloud began to float in the sky. The amount of rain is a bit small, but it is enough. The rain can allow me to remove all the bright and dark whistles on the ground. I walked into the base with a relaxed pace, strolling in the rain water, and cordially followed these soldiers who turned a blind eye to me in Chinese. Finally came to the core of the base. There are still a lot of researchers at the core. From their minds, I have seen a lot of information. They created a personal energy weapon based on that space gem, relying on a substance extracted from water as an energy storage medium, and can fire 25 energy bullets. I tried it. One shot can beat a researcher into powder. These guys are really amazing. I think there is no such group of guys in this world. Maybe the development of science and technology will be very slow, so I took the space gem and left, and didn't do anything to them. Space gems are packed in an isolation box. From the minds of those researchers, I know that this thing cannot be directly touched, otherwise it will be life-threatening. November 10th, the space gem I got, as a memorial.jpg it keeps emitting light outwards. If it has been shining since the beginning of the universe, it means that this thing has infinite energy and is a bit credible. I seem to have read a novel that says there is something in it, as long as you pay attention to it. It is another form. I don't know if this thing is like this. I open my eyes. I close my eyes. Blink, blink, blink. Does not seem to have changed. This thing is simply a female killer, no woman can stop its temptation. Can be harvested, not let girlfriends see, otherwise there are not enough girlfriends to sacrifice. Write these first, this thing quickly get a base to try for other uses. I feel like I want to do something strange recently. Maybe dying. Death is not terrible, but the terrible thing is that there is no fun. 50 or 60 years have passed, and my girlfriends have changed a lot, and there are no offspring, so it is not the problem of the woman, but my problem. I let the pregnant girlfriend's family bury themselves next to the love tree she planted when she made an oath with me. The offspring have become extravagant hopes, and I have enjoyed everything that the world can enjoy. What is the meaning of life or the joy of life? Did I write to you about where I am going? In fact, I still retain a basic sense of shame. I traced the origin of this thing, and it was actually tied to the cultural class. That is to say, after going to school, I had this kind of psychological reaction. Life's troubles and literacy begin, maybe it's not a joke. Try to block out all common sense, and then think about Guo Ben. As expected, there is no sense of shame, and it is even more interesting. I decided to fulfill the promise I made to you, so I really promised this? I have a bad memory, so have I ever made this promise? Here is a picture of me running wild on the field of the World Football Championship. There is no concern for me, free and unrestrained in the convergence of civilized eyes. JPG No one is allowed to mosaic me. Only in this way can the Earth folks appreciate my boundless confidence and enthusiasm. Below is the MD5 code and CRC code of this letter, to prevent theft of the picture and modify it to ensure that there is no code. MD5 XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX I'll talk about it when I think about it. Maybe my running posture is too graceful. These team members expressed their deep respect to me with their original movements. However, there were still a few people who just showed respect to me with their eyes. I found that as long as I looked at them with sincere eyes, they would respond like this. They are gentlemen. Unlike these other guys who show respect to me with their fists, they are all hypocrites. Do you think I will hurt? I like to see the ignorance of people like you who have never seen superpowers and noble people. The police caught me in a place and paid me another respect. I told them that this was a passionate way of expression that was not bound by words and thoughts. They didn't believe it. So I revised their thoughts. When I walked out of the place with these policemen without any entanglement, I found people on the street cheering for us, and there were several people who I joined without touching their minds. Up to us. I looked at the brains of these people very curiously, and found that they were just in a state of madness, just like some crazy neurotic patients. We rushed back to the arena and greeted us with the cheers of the crowd. They screamed, they whistled, and then many people joined us. As more and more people joined, this event became an informal carnival. They were cheering up, but I was wondering, can I achieve my goal without modifying my mind? This human brain circuit without a firewall is indeed wonderful, but it is also very fragile. It is very susceptible to influence. What makes them temporarily abandon all moral reason? Putting their minds in a kind of mania and chaos, the program operation seems to be irregular, without reference value, it is a kind of mania. Maybe I have to read some books and study how to make them crazy without modifying their brains. Because it is too labor-saving. Seems to have found some fun. Wait, why do those dog men and women want to do on my grand festival? How can this be? I have to let them understand that my carnival is sacred. Let my body float. It doesn't seem to be a difficult task in Dog Marvel. Of course, I don't know how to do magic, because I haven't captured any mysterious humans yet, so I copied the US team's enhanced code. On the body, this flying skill is purely physical. If you ignore the thing that I have abandoned on the grass and sprayed out of the intestines, this skill is still quite cool. I know that there is a magician on the mysterious side of Dog Marvel, and there are 3 other places where they are called nodes, but I don't remember the location, otherwise I will be a good wizard. There is no firefly near here, otherwise copy its code and let me send a light or something. Maybe the effect will be better. But it didn't seem to be necessary. After the terrible silence, there was a greater whistle, and they seemed even more excited. If the skin can also be taken off, they must not hesitate at this time. Many people kneel on the ground and worship me, that's right. The dog and the man were separated, and they finally understood my painstaking efforts. This feeling of being worshipped by thousands of people, I call it vanity. I deny that I have a fascination with it. I just promised to do this. It is sacred. It's just that I seem to have forgotten a very important thing. What is it? Damn it, the last Ming coin burned. It's not the first time I forgot something, maybe it was erased by that inexplicable existence. Since you can't find it, don't care about these details. I cursed it and exposed it. Why should I write these diaries on such rough paper? And then burn it? Is this a ritual? Very cool and mysterious side. Swaying around in this land, unexpectedly made many fanatical fans behind me. They called me the God of Liberty, and they jointly wanted to replace the Statue of Liberty in Country M with mine. Until one day, I was tired again. I think it might be because I am too old and I need to find a place to rest. So, I drove them all away from me, they were really noisy. I need to be quiet now. This is like welcoming me at the last moment. I want to find a quiet place, and I want to return to China, but my heart is really tired, I just want to find a quiet place to rest. There is a village in front of me, and there is an endless field outside. I saw a tree lying alone in a field, very similar to me. The owner of this field told me that this town is called Walnut Town. There are many immigrants from China in this town. They yearn for the life of a farmer in M country, so they got a lot of money from China and immigrated here, looking at the same skin, eyes, and hair. Seeing them will make me not so easy to forget, I am still a Chinese, although this Dog Marvel's China is not my China. It's just that these Chinese people seem to be bullied all the time. I decided to make the people here a little friendly, to make them full of love. I decided to tell them that China is a multi-ethnic country. Their ancestors immigrated from China and came here to take root. Their ancestors have a great mission to establish China here. In the base area, all the townspeople are relatives, and they need to help and love each other, and so on. Most of them believe it. I am an excellent magic stick. The atmosphere in the town has improved greatly. I often see men and women hugging each other and licking each other regardless of yellow and black, screaming for comrades, and achieving great goals. There are a few deep-rooted old stubborns. I ask them to be dung workers, so that they can wake up and understand the mission of their ancestors. This town is called Walnut Town. Is walnut a peach? There is no peach tree that really doesn't live up to its name. I decided to plant peaches for all the greenery in this town, so that when the season comes, not only the flowers bloom beautifully, but there are also sweet fruits to eat. I can't admit that I am a person who likes to pick peaches and not eat peaches. I can only say that I am a person with identity, status, superpower, knowledge, and shame. Dreams that were not realized in the previous life must be realized in this life. I greeted the mayor, and he agreed to my reasonable request, then formed an official document and posted it on the wall, and renamed the town Darwin Town. Darwin Town, have I heard this name somewhere? Will have the same name? Leave it alone. If the name is the same, I will find a way to change the name of the mayor, such as Walnut Town. I arranged for myself to have fun. I even dug the cemetery and the coffin with my own hands. The poor farmer who had no descendants younger than me agreed that I would put my cemetery under the tree in his house. I jumped in and tried, and found that I was not comfortable lying down. After the coffin was covered, there was no sunlight. After I was buried, I had difficulty breathing, but my heartbeat was like a drum and it was too noisy, so I crawled out of the cemetery overnight. Decided to live for a while, try to hate all the breath of the sun or wait for the heartbeat to stop before crawling back. My mind has been pretending to be a human being. This is what I discovered later. Any physical injury will recover in a short period of time. Therefore, it is more difficult to stop the heartbeat, but I am over 100 years old. If it really regards itself as a human, then it should also respect itself a little. Time is almost up. I seem to have had a beautiful vision of death, what to do at the funeral, and the funeral items to be like that, but it's today, but I can't remember at all, and I don't want to think about it. At this time, my mentality is like the old man is listening to the children expressing their yearning for a better future. Woke up after a nap, but somehow could not understand the words written before this sentence. Forget it, don't delete it, let you see all these complaints, I hope you will have a good time at the end. Country M is really a strange place, the mayor has great power, just like Anon Keefe. You said, should I run for mayor, maybe I can harm more girls? I think that the mayor is over 40 years old, his health is not very good, his lifespan is only 43 years, 6 months, and 7 days. The future of mankind should be given to me, a talented person who is active and working hard. Maybe in the near future, I can become president?